it's Steph from Happy Place to Grow. I'm here at school and unbelievable. Can you believe this? It's the last week. We made it. I can't even tell you how thankful, grateful, excited I am at the fact that we made it through an entire school year in the midst of all the craziness with the pandemic and the what ifs and the maybes this might happen. I mean, we just went into this journey this year with so many unknowns, but also we went into it with a lot of hopeful expectations. And thankfully, here we are at the end of the school year, and we're closing up this week with some fun activities. So I wanted to update you on the last time we had a little conversation. I was telling you about how I was preparing for the end of the year testing. And one thing I did was to get to work out a calendar. I was sharing with you, I really like to use hard copy, paper and pencil. I mean, I could do it digitally, but I like to write things down so that I can see it and tweak it if I need to. This really was effective for me. It kept me on track. I did make some adjustments with a few of my testing dates and things. I moved a few things around, but this really kept me on track because it let me know I've got this much time. I need to finish this. And of course, another thing that I did that was very helpful was to organize all my materials. So I housed everything in folders, all of my leveled texts with the sheets for recording the information about students. I had a check sheet up with everyone's name so I wouldn't double. I have done this before. I've called the same student twice to do the same little like mini assessment, like a spelling assessment. So I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to avoid wasting time, and that seemed to really make those long testing days go so much more smoothly for me. So I'm finished with all my testing. I do have a couple of students that still have to finish that paper and pencil math test. It was very lengthy, and so for one of my math groups I did complete it, and then for my second math group I've been calling them individually or in groups of 2 or 3 to try to finish it up because it's a process. It's been a struggle for them, so I wanted to kind of be there and just make sure that they were on task, they were working through it and not getting too stressed. So I've got 2 more students to finish up, and today is Tuesday. This week we've been doing all fun activities. So I like to do a camping week. I've got my lantern right here, and you can see my backdrop is my tent. So I love to do some camping days with my students, and last year I had to do everything virtual, but I did the same things. I pitched my tent, I read stories, I made my little campfire, and I also even did some fishing with myself for my students. So I just kind of wanted to show you a few things that I do when I'm doing my camping days. So I'm going to pick you up and take you over here. I wanted you to see my fire. And this year, I don't know if you caught a glimpse, but I just really wanted to have it look like the ground. So I bought this carpet. I thought it was cheaper, and actually the measurement was linear was measuring in linear, not regular feet. And so when I got up there, it was a little more expensive, but I said, hey, we've got to have this look like the ground. So I had this seating all around, which sorry about that, had the seating all around. We had a campfire virtual, and we had the little mini fake campfire. They had their little lanterns. It was so cute, and they loved it. And they just brought their basket of books, and I also provided some books. So we had read around the campfire twice. We went on 2 nature walks, and we had a list that we were checking as we spied things like birds and bugs and things. And so we did that for 2 days. And then I wanted to show you my bugs because, camping isn't camping without having to deal with insects. So come along here and spy out the land here. This is my collection of bugs and other things. I'm really, I don't know, I'm a collector of bugs. But anyhow, I've got a lot of different things over the years, and I just put them in containers. And today I let the students go around, and I had 4 students, and they just kind of rotated at a time, and they had their magnifying glasses, and they absolutely had, I won't say they had a ball, but they were very interested. And they were very fascinated in asking about different creatures. So that was really successful and interesting. And I like to, before I do my bug activities, I like to do this reading rainbow. Now, these are really super old with LeVar Burton. However, I just love these. I mean, they're just treasures. So we always watch this reading rainbow. And then I do have a few little books. Sometimes I will have this as a little station for them to visit, and then they can look at books with that. I do like to do a few good stories. And last year, of course, we were virtual, so I read a few good books. One I read was this Dr. Seuss, What Was I Scared Of course, because part of camping is telling spooky stories around the campfire. So I read that again this year. Well, we actually watched my video on YouTube, and then we were supposed to watch this today because I did record myself reading this around the 10th last year, but we were just so busy. We had so many activities. And I forgot that the school was providing ice cream today from an ice cream truck, so we had to weave that in. So we didn't quite get to that. We did go outside and do some fishing. So I bring 2 little mini pools. I bought 2 sets of fishing equipment with the pole and the fish, and we just had, I set the timer for 3 minutes, and they just raced against another student, and they had all kinds of really cool strategies for catching, and they would tell their friends, hey, do this, try this. And so it was really fun. Of course, it was hot, and they were kind of complaining about the heat. We didn't quite finish the contest. We still have a few more rounds tomorrow, so I told them we'd do it in the morning when it was a little bit cooler. Now, the very favorite activity for me and the students is, of course, we have to make our s'mores. And so we did a snack with s'mores, and I had parents send in graham crackers and marshmallows, and I had a bunch of chocolate kisses from different things that gifts that people have given me. And so we just put, instead of the Hershey bar, we put the chocolate kisses. That was a little bit of juggling because you had to kind of sort of soften up the chocolate, so because the marshmallows has to sit on there in a flat way. But we made the 2 kisses over here and then put the marshmallow in the middle. It was so fun. So they enjoyed that. We ate the s'more, and then we wrote about the steps. We talked about ingredients and about sometimes that you can substitute one ingredient for another, and that you should follow the steps because it makes the recipe turn out right. So we rethought about the steps of our recipe, and we wrote those down. So it's been a really, really fun day. Now tomorrow I will be doing a candy bar. I've got tons of candy left over, so I'm going to put the candy in big bowls and let them come and scoop and they've decorated a paper bag. So I'm just going to let them take a bag full of candy. We're going to spend all of my students collect points for good behavior. So they're going to spend all of those points. And after I get done talking with you, I'm going to get a spinner. I've got several in my closet, and I'm going to put different point values on the spinner so that in addition to the points that they have collected for the last couple of weeks that we're going to count so they can shop in the prize boxes, I'm going to let them spin some extra points. So they might be able to get 25 or 50 or 75 or 100. I thought that would be a fun way for them to, again, I'm just thinking I've got so much candy and so much prize box items, so many, I want to clear out some things. So I'm just going to let them have some fun with spinning to win tomorrow. So I'll let you know about that. Also in the afternoon, I'm going to be doing my awards with my students. And I did a slideshow, and I'm also going to, my husband and I worked on a Screencastify so we can send that to the parents. So tomorrow what we'll do is I'm going to give them I've got these little paper graduation hats that they're going to wear, and then I'm going to run the slideshow for them. And one thing that I like to do with my awards is I like to put each student's photo, a special photo, and then I write like a little bio of them this year. You know, I give 2 words that describe the student, and then I talk about their strengths, and I talk about also things that maybe they had to work on, and if they're a helpful student. And so instead of just saying, you know, Johnny gets a math award, good job growing in that, you know, we talk about personal, special information that characterizes their year and their personality. So I have to really think through that. It's taken me several weeks. I set that up in Google Slides, so I'll have the little bio here, and I'll have a little picture, and then over here I have the date and my teacher name and the awards that they're going to win, or that they're receiving. I always give 1 academic award per student, so whatever they excel in or whatever they've grown in, that's the academic award I'll give them. And then of course we do a behavior award, and this year I did a remote learning award for each student because all of my students really participated with remote learning. I mean, some did it better than others, but most of them completed the assignments and turned them in a timely manner. So I felt like they all deserved to be acknowledged for their work at home, because again, you know, this is not really a normal year, and that we're expecting them to do things they normally wouldn't do. Well, I mean, I know they do homework, but you know, being responsible for a school day at home is it's asking a lot of parents and students on a regular basis. So I think they stepped up to the plate, and families did too. So I really appreciated that. Wow, as I said, as I started this conversation, I'm so thankful to have completed this year with my students in person. Again, it was a journey for us. We started with an A-B schedule, 2 days, remote day, and then the next group came Thursday, Friday. We did that through October. The whole group came for 4 days a week from October all the way to April. And then in April, we started 5 days a week. We had 1 or 2 weeks of our 5-day week, and then May has been straight 5 days. And yes, it's been an adjustment, but you know, I'm getting back into that normal, I don't know, the normalness of the way our classroom used to be. And I like it, and I'm so glad that we have completed the year. I have seen tons of growth, and I guess what I've learned is little humans need big humans. They need us, and we need them. We need to be together. There are some circumstances maybe where virtual learning is okay or necessary, but I think in person learning is so much more valuable, and I receive from it, they receive from it, and just that accountability, knowing that there's a person that's monitoring what you're doing, expecting the best out of you, and having you stay on task with learning. You can just pull out so much growth. And I have seen my students just blossom. So, wow, it's been quite a year. Now I'm going to be closing up next week, cleaning and closing, which I dread that. I really, I dread all of that, putting away, organizing. I will keep you posted on how that goes. I will share with you some of my ideas for how to organize and close up your room. And I'm thinking about possibly retiring soon. So I'm going to be really going through my classroom with a keen eye and thinking about things that I probably don't need next year. And if I'm going to retire soon, I may just want to even start thinning out some of my teacher materials. So I will join you next week again. We will have some more conversations about closing up the school year. So I hope that you have had a wonderful year, whether it's been partially virtual or you've had in-person learning, or like me, you've had both going on. You've had a little of both. We've had remote and we've had in person here. I hope that you felt like it was a great year with your students and you felt like they have really been successful. I know there's been some struggles. I've seen it, but I can really say that my students are more like functioning like school students. I know at the beginning of the year I mentioned how they couldn't follow directions and multi-step tasks were just, they couldn't do it. But now they can, most of the time, most of the time. They're really acting like normal kids who don't sometimes follow directions, not because they were just out of the habit or they're not really sure what's going on. But anyway, it's been a really great year and I'm feeling joyful. I'm feeling sad that we're coming to a close because I really have enjoyed this bunch. They've been a really super sweet, hardworking bunch. All right, until our next conversation next week as I'm cleaning up and closing up, as always, have a good one.